Hello there. So, this is the series in which I choose one color from my collection, and now that I've been in Japan, actually my collection I think is double the size, but for today we're not going to use any Japanese color. But basically what I do is that I choose a color, and here in live I study like the color itself, how it behave, and then on YouTube I create one single page for each single color after the study deadline here in Twitch. Last time it was this nice, beautiful granulated color, and I've been in Japan. So for today, the plan is to use, of course, one of the color, but also I want to try to replicate something that I found in this book that is from the author Hokusai manga, something like that. So this thing is awesome. So this super famous that I didn't know about, well, actually I know because of the wave, but he is insanely good. And this is basically just a collection of all these sketch, and I learned from this trip in Japan that actually they call it like sketch manga, and it's super fun to me. And I was looking at this evening and I saw this one. I want to try to replicate this one. I think it's super nice. So yeah, I need to find the right brush and stuff like that. But this is the plan. I want to replicate this in only one color. I think it's doable because there is a lot of contrast. And maybe I can leave this empty, and this is very dark. I love the shape here of the sky. Really like the composition. It's super beautiful. I love this Japanese author. So yeah, the plan is choose one color, decide how to handle these, and replicate something like this. So this will be the reference. Maybe I can leave it here so that I can fill one of the page of one single color. So yes, here it is. Here we are. Yeah, any suggestion on the color? There are so many here. Let's see. So last time we used a granulated color, and it was pretty beautiful. So what about, I think it would be nice to have some sort of orange in here, because it's like, it reminds me of autumn somehow. Cadmium. So the issue that I have with this one is that it doesn't have that much contrast between like waterish and not waterish. So maybe it's better to find something else. Usually I choose the color in advance, but today I was so lazy because of the jet lag that I haven't chosen the color yet. So we're gonna choose it together. So I already used those. I don't remember if I used it. I've used this one. Yes. What are you? Dusk green. I'm pretty sure I haven't used dusk green. It's a nice color. What about Indie orange or brown? Oh, brown also is a good choice. Purple is a good choice as well. Yeah, too many good colors here. What about brown? This one I've already used. This is shimmery one. Pretty nice. Any color you want to see? And this one is beautiful. This one is beautiful as well. Oh my god, too many beautiful color in this palette. Damn it. I think I'll go with this one. Cadmium red. No, we already did cadmium red. Come on. Okay, you know what? I don't think we have done burnt umber from Winsor Newton. So why don't we go with it? Let me check just in case, but yeah, I think we haven't done this yet. So now this is the other one, then reds, green, other greens. Okay, let's go with this one. Put it in here as a reference. Now, in Japan, I also bought, so I bought some spray actually to use as a palette. But I thought, since I'm doing this thing with one single color, why don't I buy something that has different compartment? But this is actually a silicone chocolate mold. So, I mean, it would be fun. It was, let me take it off. A lot of noise, sorry for that. So it was in this 100 yen per product, and it's few cents in European euro. But it was funny to have this instead of what I usually have, that is the regular palette. I usually use this palette, and I want to try this one. So let's find our good friend from Winsor & Newton that is not in this palette, maybe in this one. I have so many palettes. Here it is. And then you use a spatula to take it off. Somehow. Can you come with me? Yay! Beautiful. And that's it. Now, we need, I guess we're going to need, well, at least one brush to try to replicate this. And then, how many color we need? So we need a very dark one, medium, and then very light. So maybe we are going to fill 3 of these. Let me find a brush to do so. My God, the jet lag is awful, by the way. And I have too many brushes, so I cannot choose one. I don't like when these happen. Okay, let's go with this one. So yeah, jet lag is awful. I feel stupid most of the time. I also bought this in Japan as well, so now I can do this fancy thing. Like I feel like some sort of chemistry teacher or something like that. But yeah, this is just for activating the color. You don't need to do this at all. But if you do, you feel very fancy. And then I have my water in here. I think this is one of the most chaotic live that I ever made. But jet lag, my good friend. I have so many things in here. So you can stay here, you can stay like here, and this is the reference, this is the sponge, and yeah, water. So let's make some color, shall we? Otherwise, this live is not gonna go anywhere. So we need a very dark one. Oh, this is plastic. Yeah, I haven't thought about this. So the difference between plastic and ceramic is that in ceramic it's going to... Let me find if I can find a palette with ceramic. Yeah, this is ceramic. Again, my trip in Japan, 100 yen. But usually in ceramic, the color stays better than in plastic. See that it creates bubbles, but then when you are in ceramic, it kind of stay there, right? I think it's nice to have the palette in ceramic rather than this one, but I want to try this one. And let's see for next time if I actually am going to love it or hate it, think that my life is terrible because of my choices or stuff like that. So okay, let's make a very dark one. Let's test it out. Yeah, pretty dark. And then by just adding a little bit of water, we're going to make something lighter. Let's see how light this is. Yeah, I think this could be used for the clouds. They're called clouds. And then we need even more light. So let's go here. What if I just add the water from here? Let's experiment together with this new silicone cookie. No, it was chocolate mold, something like that. Why I have the feeling this is a very bad idea. Maybe. How are you? You're super bright. But now that this is getting dark, this is drying up, I think I need more pigment in here. I feel with this trick, I'm actually making my life way harder than how it's supposed to be. But anyway, okay, let's start with this nice cloud here. And let's build from there. I can actually just draw a very, very quick sketch about this. So there will be like, here will be the area with this grass, something like this. And then the grass goes here. And then we have those kind of shades. I don't know what these should be, but whatever, we are going to replicate that. And then we have these. We have the small houses that are basically just small shapes like these. I really like this guy, like amazing author. I think if I keep saying this guy instead of the name of this person, somebody from Japan will be particularly pissed. But hey, art is all about discovering new people, and my trip in Japan helped me discovering this guy, so he was super famous and I actually feel dumb not to know him. But yeah, and then we have the trees, should be somewhere here. We're gonna replicate the trees in here, and then we have this nice shape. Just sketching very quickly just to have a feeling, and then there's this bird here. Nice! This is the perfect study. Now, let's go from light to dark. I'm gonna leave the white part white and then just use this to fill, this is very waterish, but this to fill this area here and here. And then we have the same thing here, basically. And then also here. It's fine to do a very loose sketch for this one. Because we are studying, right? Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. Then I also want to use the same color for the house. I mean, maybe this mistake number one, but yeah. But I also use it in here. This is nice. Okay, so it's using also is here on the trees itself. It doesn't leave that much white space now that I'm looking. Okay, I feel this is a mess, but it's fine. Now, we need to find kind of a fine brush. Where is my finest brush? I can actually use this from Japan. So I bought this from Japan, and it's supposed to be for calligraphy. And it has a super sharp point. So I think we could try to use this to make the trees. But I don't know how flexible this is, so it might be that it's actually too flexible to control. So I'm gonna go with the color Stripe from the palette. So for the trees, he does something like straight line. Are you working? Straight lines. Like this. Maybe we need a little bit of water. I'm not familiar with this brush, so it's kind of tough to control. And then he does something like this. By the way, leave me in the comment how do you deal usually with jet lag, because I'm struggling so badly with jet lag these days. Like, I have a regular job after these and it's so tiring to go to work and stuff with the whole jet lag thingy. Yeah, I think the color choices here is super hard to make with one color. I should have made more contrast from the beginning. But let's see if we can save these or not. So the houses is just lines. very, very sharp thin lines. Something like this, and then goes down. It goes like this. Basically no perspective or anything. By the way, I've been in one of those villages with the house that were like super old Japanese style house, and it was awesome. Like, if you've never been in Japan, just go. I know it's not cheap. I mean, it depends on the kind of trip you want to have. Like this, I've been in Japan twice, and the first time that I've been there, I basically had not that much money, and I've been able to enjoy it as well. Because the thing is that in Japan, there are places that are super expensive, but there are also places that are super cheap. And if you want to eat, you can go on like a 7-Eleven or a Konbini. I think they call it Konbini, it's just a small store that sells, well, basically everything. But basically you can go there and eat for just few money, and then of course there are fancy places in which you can spend tons of money on everything. But yeah, depending on where you are, you can have a nice choice. And for me, the first time, I definitely used Konbini a lot, because it was like, I didn't have that much time and that much money at the time, so it was like going in there on a budget, but it was part of the fun, because then you have to go and try to find like affordable prices. This time, thankfully, I'm in a better position, so I was like, yeah, I don't care, I'm gonna buy stuff. I have like, I don't know how many brushes I bought from there. I bought so many different colors, because they don't use our like half pan that are super small, but they have very big brushes. So they have the pan that are super big, like this one. See how big this is? Insanely big. Or Studio Ghibli, I don't know if you're a fan of Studio Ghibli, but they use this kind of color, and this one as well. Yeah, it's super big, so love this. And if you stick around, we are going to use all of this color and brushes and stuff that I put in there. Yeah, during the live, or if you follow me on YouTube as well, it will be like on YouTube. But yeah, stick around. I think I made a mess from the beginning on this one. So what I like and what I don't like is that the cloud, it should have been, I think, way brighter than this, like fading away. And then I made a mistake here, for example. Let me just try this as well. So here should have been dark as well. And there is a lot of, I don't know what this is called in English, when you add too much color into your watercolor and it creates those kind of border here. Yeah, I don't like that. And again, as usual, this is not paper that is meant to be for watercolor, okay? So this is part of the struggle. Right now, I should have just used watercolor paper, but I have this sketchbook from Sakura and I'm using this one. So it's fine. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but learning from the first sketch. And I'm going to add way more water to this, so it will be even lighter. I just want the clouds to be there and not be there. And then the clouds itself, they're like long. Okay, this is definitely not enough color, not enough pigment. Okay, let's try now. Yeah. Now it's a little bit better. Can you see it? Yeah, kind of. And there are those stripes that are going left and right. So let's recreate that. And then they go down. Still not enough color, I guess. They go down, oh, too much water, okay. They go down here, they go down there, and then here there will be the village, the whole village thing, like this. And then here at the bottom, I love how this person is using the color, like it's so good. And the fact that those were all sketches, insane to me. Like if you look at this, like come on, it is so good. This person is a genius. Now, let's start. I think this time I'm gonna start with the houses because it's the focal point of the whole illustration from this mangaka, because if those are manga, I guess he's a mangaka. So let's build a house. I wish in life would be so easy to build a house. You just use a brush and your house is there. It would be so nice. And let me know if you can buy a house in your area. Like my area, oof, it's tough. But I know that there are some areas in which, like around the world, that it's so easy to buy a house. And okay, if you are in that position, I kind of beg you. It would be nice to have a house. I will set up definitely a studio. Right now the camera is on a box, just for you to know. But if we reach, I don't know, 1,000 people here, I might consider to buy an actual camera and not a phone or stuff like that. Because this for now it's more like a hobby to go live that I wanted to try. But yeah, especially in YouTube, the support is really nice. And guys, I love when you message to me because it's nice to keep the communication open. I feel like you're here also just to discuss about those kind of colors and stuff. Love that. Had very great suggestion on colors that I need to buy. And I love that. So yeah, keep the conversation open. I love that in few strokes you have a house. Like few shapes and boom, you have a house. And I just noticed that I'm not basically using any out of color that I have prepared here. Well done, Elisa. Okay, now I have small houses. Now, let's make this line here. But I wonder what is this? Like, on the actual thing, it was this like a lake? Maybe a rice farm or something? I don't know. And then let's go with the trees all around. Now I'm thinking if I have a smaller brush to make those three, or a different one, not to have to recreate everything by hand, but I think I don't. That if I look at all the brushes that I had, it's insane that I don't have anything for that purpose. Let's find out. So I have this one that is very old brush that I basically destroyed because I needed to do some, I think it was some foliage for something. And yeah, this brush is so old. Doesn't even have a brand or anything, it's just... Okay, let's see. So if I use this... I don't know. Let's see. It's not that easy to control. I don't like that. Yeah, the sound on the paper. And then I have so hard to control this brush. It's like completely randomic. And if you want a tutorial on how to make this brush, buy the cheapest brush you can possibly find, cut it randomly, and ta-da! You have made yourself an impossible to control brush, apparently. Okay, I definitely think that in the final sketch I'm going to take all the time needed to make the grass by myself. I don't like this solution. Go back to sleep. Okay, let's make the trees. So, is this good enough? No. Okay. The tree themselves has some sort of shape as trees all together, like the trunk. It doesn't start on the same high. And that make a nice effect of like a floating forest in the middle of a mist. I think that was the idea. And then he does all those different strokes like these to make the kyoma that I still have no idea how to call it in English. So the part of the tree in which you have like the leaves and the branches. In Italian it's called kyoma. But in English I find foliage, but foliage from my understanding is not exactly the same thing. Okay, yeah. I think for my final page on the other side of the sketchbook, I'm gonna go with just draw everything by hand. It's this brush is amazing, so it's not that hard to actually create those kind of shapes. So yeah, I think I'll go for that. Then in here, and then a little bit more, little animal, floating animal here. Okay, we are going somewhere. So the thing also is that to create this kind of illustration, the color, for example, they use a technique that is called wood block. So basically they cut a piece of wood with all the shape of one single color. Can you see it? Yeah. So for example, in this example here, they will have a block of wood and they are going to like carving the wood on a shape of the of this specific color. So it will be one for the gray, one for the black, one for the reddish of this village, and then they are going to put a film of color in each one of those, and then the paper on top of it. So you now have like one layer of gray, one layer of black, one layer of this reddish, and that's the wood block technique. And it's typical in Japan, and one of the main challenges they had at the time was to actually have different colors in one single illustration, because they were very good at some point on doing in one single color because it's just easier. But then when it comes to add more colors, the struggle was how can I be sure that the paper is going to be in the same position. So at some point there was this genius that decided, you know what, I'm gonna find a solution for that, and he did. And now they have developed in Century. In Century is these techniques for which they use different colors, and I love that. Like, it was one of the nicest part of going around Japan, find out this. Okay, my phone is a little bit better, but so the idea was to replicate these from my Japanese book. This was the first one, messy. This is the second one, we are going somewhere. What we learn from the first one is that we need to balance the color better, and I think this time it's better. But now what I've learned by this one is that first of all I need to use only this single Japanese brush to create all the strokes, because I tried with another brush and it wasn't working. I made a mess in here, it doesn't make sense. And I think the trees themselves, there is more balance between one bunch of tree and the others, and I love that, and I haven't replicated that. So in the next sketch that I'm going to do, I'm going to try to replicate this. Other than this, I think there should be more contrast between the houses and the background. So what I'm gonna try to do on the spot, let's see how it goes, is to actually take some color and just, how is this color? Yeah, a little bit darker, and just color the house. Oh, too much water, definitely too much water. And just color the houses, because in here I have different colors, right? But think of this exercise like you are a colorblind person. So if you're a colorblind person, maybe you don't see the red and you will see it like grayish. So we need to find that value there. And now it's too dark. So yeah. I wonder if the person that have created this have done the exact opposite that I'm doing. So maybe he start from the black ink and then he filled up. That could be the case. I have no clue. So yeah, that's part of the struggle right now. I think for the next sketch, I could just leave this area here white and then add the color once I've decided where to put the houses. But we are going somewhere. We are going somewhere. And I'm really loving this illustration. So I think for our next live, I'm going to use another color and maybe try to replicate this one because it's so beautiful. So let's go ahead and sketch number 3. I usually do kind of 3 or 4. Like for this one, it was super easy. I just made 2 and it was done. But there I had other example in which I was struggling so badly that I have to make so many. And my phone need to be charged, so give me a second. If I can... That was a very hard noise. Sorry about that. Okay. Shaky, shaky. Okay. So let's go for the new sketch. And at some point we will find a way to recreate this thing. So what I like about these lives is that I have no intention on show myself as something that I am not. Like, I am a super incredible artist that knows how to do everything. That's not the case. And not at all. So, yeah, I'm gonna just test things around with you guys. It's just nice. And if you have suggested any of the steps I'm doing, more than happy to listen to your suggestions. Okay, this is definitely too much water. So let's go with this and maybe make more space. Then go right, because here it's where the birds are flying. And then let's go left. Let's simplify it a little bit. So here it's where the forest is. Then here there will be the forest, and I think we can go very, very light in here and then fill up the color again and go down here with rice field. How is it called, this thing here? Rice field? I don't know. Maybe? Yeah, okay, now we have better values, I think. Maybe the forest needs to be a little bit darker. Here and maybe here where there are the trees. Okay, let's go again, and then I think I will just die on my bed dealing with the fact that jet lag won. Fill this nice brush with a lot of pigment. I hope this brush will never die because such a beautiful. I mean, I have other 10 to try, I think. But anyway, so let's start again with the houses and everything. So, oh, this is without Not enough water though. Okay, a little bit of water. Let's try this out. And then, okay, this is fine. Then we have the, no, it is not fine. I want more pigment and less water. I think also the fact that I am using a very, very small sketch, it's making everything harder and harder. Like I think this one, it would, in the original paper, would be definitely bigger than whatever size is the one that I'm using at the moment. And he makes shapes on the grass. I should replicate that somehow. Da, 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 da. Okay, something like this. I need to practice this technique way more. Then let's make the houses. So it would be like the roof, and then the roof again, and then just a couple of lines for doors and stuff like that. And then same thing here with a bigger house, bigger roof, and it has like 2 floors because they are rich, so they can have 2 floors. And let's make another one that is a smaller one. Maybe this is where the farmers sleep at night. Who knows? I've been in one of those houses. They were super cold. They didn't have windows with glass. They use rice paper. And I actually slept on a ryokan, just like kind of traditional Japanese house, something like that. And in there they had the same system, so no window, only the rice paper on the window. And I was surprised how much rice paper can actually handle heat. Like, I wasn't feeling, like, it was cold without blanket for sure, but it wasn't that cold. Like, I thought it would have been way colder, but it wasn't. And when I actually opened the window without glass in the morning, it was so cold, and I was like, okay, that was not a good idea. Bad idea. So I'm actually surprised how good the rice paper windows can handle heat, like can keep the heat inside the house. Okay, let's try to make this work this time. So let's go like this, and then here there is like a bigger tree. The only issue that I have with this brush is that it retains a lot of water, so try to understand how much water it retains. It's kind of tough. But I think this is the struggle with any new brush that I have had. Like at the beginning is like, no, this is very hard brush and blah blah blah, and then at some point something click into your mind and you start to fall in love with the brush, and you're like, I'm not gonna use any other blush ever again because you're the best brush ever, and then you find another one and a new love. And that's how you fell in love with your brushes, I guess. But with this one, still find very hard how to control the amount of water I have in there. I think I shouldn't have had so much water in the pigment in the first place. Maybe that's the only thing. Okay, now that I'm focusing more on the shape of the trees, I think it's going better, but at the same time I feel like the house is completely disappearing. But that's also due to the fact that there is too much water on my pan in the first place. So let's do the trees, let's do the trees very randomically. Let's make the trees beautiful trees. And then let's add the foliage to the trees. I wonder how much time this person spent on making those sketches. Like, my guess would be not that much. Because if they were sketches, I guess the whole point is not to use too much time. But at the same time, since this was his style, it could have been that he actually used not that much time just because he was so used to painting this way that it didn't require him that much effort anymore. So I'm imagining this person just sitting in front of a field or something and just enjoying in there. I don't know, because this looks like cold. The whole thing here looks like it's very cold. So yeah, I'm wondering, like, is this person actually... this person was feeling cold when he was drawing all this? How did he keep the heat? Like in the city in which I live in right now, today there were like 0 degrees. And there will be snow tomorrow. So I wonder, like, can you actually go out and paint when there is this kind of weather? Won't it be too cold? Are your hand gonna freeze and you're not gonna be able to paint ever again? Okay. I'm getting very tired, so I think I'm just gonna go to sleep. But we had some improvement in here for sure. So now the space is, so look at the first and look at the third. The difference, and I all the time had a reference here with me, so the difference is huge, okay? And it's fine, that's part of the process. Now I think that I'm handling the space better, like the composition itself a little bit better. I feel like if I do another one, it would be way better than this, because still there is like too much space in here. There is no much, like, it's not cohesive, the space between the elements. Like, it feels like they are floating too much, and I need to learn how to control the amount of water that I have in this brush better, so that I don't have this huge blob that I have in here. That's another thing. But at the same time, and also the houses doesn't look like houses, they look like weird stuff. But I think we are going somewhere. So the plan is that we have done this together live, and then by myself I'm going to recreate this in here and have just one single page from one single sketch. And since this is a square and the original composition was like vertical, I think I'm gonna change something in the composition itself to make it a square. But the principle would be the same. I will have the houses, I will have the trees, I will have the birds and the rice field here. Still have to learn how to, yeah, I think the only issue that I have here realistically is that I don't know how to control the water that good. So I have too much blobs. But once I learn how to do that, that will be like good. But again, attempt number 1, number 2, number 3, huge difference. And still, of course, the reference itself, this is a masterpiece from Hokusai. So yeah, I'm not gonna learn how to do the style of this amazing person in one day, that's for sure. But yeah, that's what the life is about, just learning from the masters. Those will be awesome to replicate, for example, to study how to do foliage, leaves, trees. Like, I love the shape of this one, so definitely this is going to be on one of the other lives that I'm going to do. And I also love this shape that he made in the background. Come on, this is awesome. So stay tuned if you want. Follow me. I'm also on YouTube. And here in live, I'm just sketching around, trying to understand what the original author did. And then on YouTube, there will be a video of specific color with like specific stuff going on. So yeah, thank you for being here. It was nice to spend this 45 minutes with you. Have a lovely rest of the day or the night, depending on where are you in the world. And yeah, leave a follow. Bye bye.